if someone's starting at the very beginning, then we're starting with kind of the maturity at its core, both platform and culture, and then we're kind of driving to ultimately the projects that we need to execute. If you're coming to me with the fact that you've got a clear strategy and you're looking for an expert around, let's say, digitizing again work management or supply chain, then that's really looking at okay, what are the platform characteristics, and then what does that kind of roadmap and execution plan need to look like? So again, it's flexible in the sense of where a customer is engaging with us, and it is meant to really streamline the process to helping them transform is most predictable from a risk mitigation perspective, as quickly time to value to start seeing some real impact of leveraging transformation tools like platformation or Power Platform, and then making sure that they're on the right path and they can in essence realize those outcomes that they're really focused in on.
You promised us an example in the utility space, so I think that's what comes up next here.
Yeah, so this is just an example, like kind of unpacking for a particular utility customer. So again, looking at the left here, they were top down. So this is really to say, Sonata, what is the kind of platform-based business model opportunity for us? And so when you look at utilities, it's a very kind of pipe driven or linear rather driven business model. And what's happened in the energy market is you've had tremendous change in how people are consuming energy, the role of utilities, even customers, bringing energy to the grid, and then things like microgrids, and you have all these different things, renewable energy and so on, that are impacting and disrupting our business model. So it's really looking at more of a nonlinear model, and going back to the opportunity here is how do we build a platform that allows us to be dynamic enough to take advantage of these different changes in the market, allow us to create the best customer experience possible, allow us to maintain the most predictable grid as it relates to resilience of our infrastructure and beyond. And then kind of the middle of those themes that I talked about, which some of these I just mentioned, but really about now that we understand what that platform-based business opportunity is, what are the key themes as it relates to areas that we want to focus in on or around applying digital to realize some of these key elements to the outcomes that we want to get. And then the far right is really kind of that design blueprint of the technology and what are the key elements that we need to get there.
Wow. So starting back from the left, business design.
Correct. So companies come to us kind of in, I'll say it, three main flavors. The left is really about, it's that top down, it's that we need help with the strategy. So this is, very much using design thinking principles. These are ideation workshops with, the C-suite operations and, key stakeholders, and really looking at defining really those outcomes that and those key disruption, those key value opportunities and so on, that become the cornerstones of the plan that then drive our digital kind of agenda, which we talked about before.
Okay. So then priorities and processes.
Again, customer has the digital agenda at this point in time. It's really about how do we best execute, what is the solution, the designs and strategies that we need to take, and what processes should we look at digitizing. But they've got a clear roadmap, and we're there as that platform partner to help them execute on that vision.
Okay. Okay.
And then the last is really around, digital services. So this is where someone is coming to us with a very specific need. They want to build a employee onboarding platform on Power Platform, or they want to build a data model around, predictive maintenance. So very definitive digital kind of workload that they're looking at automating. They need help around it. They need to have the right partner. They need help around the design, architecture, and execution. The other key element here is really about kind of, where we're helping customers a lot, particularly when you look at Power Platform, and that is building what we call a center of excellence. So, how do we put the right model in place, right policies and principles and architecture, and then execution that allows us to really not only best use this tool across the organization, but continue to drive value in a very iterative approach that is kind of creating best-in-class innovation. And that's really what that, and actually a lot of our particularly larger enterprise customers in the asset-based industries are coming to us because of that. So they've made an investment in the Power Platform. There's some pockets of innovation going on, but they're struggling with really realizing the true value and helping build kind of a best-in-class center of excellence and creating that kind of innovation model to really drive value, across a multi-year strategy.
Right. Matt, this is a great event. We learned a lot about the Power Platform, which seems as if it has no bounds, right? There's so many things it can do, but I think you coined the phrase of 2020 when you talked about, kind of the digital technology outrunning strategy. Nobody does that on purpose, but these are some very powerful tools that can be put in the hands of people top to bottom of the organization.
That's right. And, and one last thing I would just finish on that, to get started, it doesn't have to be this massive, large engagement. That's what's so cool about this world. And many times customers come to us with a particular use case, and we do a quick POC to do that initial value validation, and then look at a much larger project. I think the key that I would close on is just that whether you're doing it internally yourself or you're looking at a partner like us to really help kind of build that center of excellence model, don't treat these, awesome technologies like Power Platform as just kind of standalone one-offs. You should still take the same discipline as any other, whether it's ERP or EIM or CIS or whatever system, your large enterprise systems. You should take that same discipline. And even on the development side of thing, although these model apps are very easy to create, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be using the right governance or best-in-class way of doing development. And so that would be my kind of closing recommendation to everybody.